The rain fell hard on the colony world of New Haven. It was the kind of rain that made everything gray and cold. The streets were empty because everyone was inside their homes. The lights from the windows made small yellow spots in the darkness. It was late at night, and most people were sleeping. But one small creature was not sleeping. She was running. Bora was a dragon. But she was not a big dragon. She was only 7 years old in dragon years, which made her very young. Her scales were a soft blue color, like the sky on a clear day. Her wings were small and not yet strong enough to fly long distances. Right now, those wings were pressed flat against her back as she ran through the rain. Her feet splashed in the puddles. The water was cold, but she did not care. She did not care about anything except finding help. Her mother was sick, very sick, and Bora did not know what to do. She had tried to wake her mother up. She had called her name many times. "Mommy, Mommy, please wake up." But her mother, Nari, would not open her eyes. Her breathing was slow and strange. Her scales, which were usually a beautiful deep green, looked dull and gray. Bora had never seen her mother like this before. It scared her more than anything. Bora knew she needed to find help, but who could help a dragon? The other dragons in the colony lived far away in the mountain caves. It would take her all night to reach them with her small legs, and she did not think her mother had that much time. Then she remembered something. Her mother had told her stories about a human, a soldier who had fought in the Great War many years ago. Her mother always spoke about him with kindness in her voice. She said he was different from other humans. She said he understood dragons. She said he was a good man. His name was Teho. Bora had never met Teho before, but she knew where he lived. Her mother had shown her his workshop once, from far away. It was near the old market, in a small building with a red door. Bora ran toward that place now. She ran as fast as her little legs could carry her. The streets were confusing in the dark, and the rain. Everything looked different at night. Bora made wrong turns twice. She felt panic rising in her chest. What if she could not find the workshop? What if she was too late? What if her mother? No, she would not think about that. She had to keep going. Finally, she saw it. The red door. The small building with tools and machine parts stacked outside under a cover. This was the place. This had to be the place. Bora ran to the door and started to knock. But she was small, and her knocking was soft. The rain was loud. She was afraid no one would hear her, so she knocked harder. She used both of her small fists. She knocked and knocked until her hands hurt. "Please," she cried out. "Please, someone help me. Please." For a long moment, nothing happened. Bora felt tears coming to her eyes. They mixed with the rain on her face. She was about to give up hope when she heard footsteps inside. Heavy footsteps, human footsteps. The door opened. A man stood there. He was tall, with broad shoulders and gray hair. His face had many lines on it, the kind that came from years of hard work and hard times. He wore simple clothes and had the look of someone who had just woken up. His eyes were tired, but they became sharp and alert when he saw the small dragon at his door. "What in the stars?" he said softly. "Are you Teho?" Bora asked. Her voice was shaking. "The soldier? The one who fought in the war?" The man looked at her for a long moment. "I am Teho," he said, "but I have not been a soldier for many years." "Who are you, little one? Why are you out in this storm?" Bora grabbed his hand. Her small claws were gentle, but her grip was desperate. "Please, you have to help me. My mommy is sick. She will not wake up. I do not know what to do. Please, please help me." Teho's face changed. The tiredness left his eyes. Something else took its place. It was a look that Bora did not understand, but it made her feel a tiny bit of hope. "Your mother," Teho said slowly. "What is her name?" "Nari," Bora said. "Her name is Nari. She told me about you. She said you were a good human. She said you helped dragons in the war. Please, I do not know who else to ask. Tejo closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, they were filled with something deep and serious. He nodded his head once. Nari, he said quietly, as if the name meant something important to him. Yes, I know your mother. She saved my life once. She saved many lives. He stepped back from the door and grabbed a coat from a hook on the wall. Then he picked up a bag that looked heavy and full of things. He moved quickly, like someone who knew exactly what to do in an emergency. Come, he said to Bora. Take me to her. We must hurry. Bora felt relief wash over her like a warm wave. She had found him. He was going to help. Maybe everything would be okay. They stepped out into the rain together. Tejo walked fast, and Bora had to run to keep up with him. But she did not mind. She would run all night if she had to. She would do anything to save her mother. As they moved through the dark streets, Tejo asked her questions. How long has she been sick? When did she stop waking up? Has she been eating? Has she been drinking water? Bora answered as best as she could. She told him that her mother had started feeling tired 3 days ago. She told him that her mother had stopped eating yesterday. She told him that this morning, her mother could not get out of bed, and tonight, her mother had closed her eyes and would not open them again. Tejo's face grew more serious with each answer. He walked even faster. I think I know what this is, he said. It is a sickness that dragons can get. It is rare, but it is very dangerous. Dragon medicine does not work on it. Only human medicine can help. Do you have the medicine? Bora asked. Her heart was beating very fast. I have some, Tejo said. But I do not know if it will be enough. We will see when we get there. Just keep moving, little one. We do not have much time. They ran through the rain, the old soldier and the young dragon, racing against time to save someone they both loved. Tejo remembered the day he first met Nari. It was burned into his memory like a scar that would never fade. 20 years had passed since that day, but he could still see every detail when he closed his eyes. It was during the Border Wars, a terrible time when humans and dragons fought side by side against the Void Swarm, creatures from the dark spaces between stars. They were monsters that wanted to destroy everything. Humans and dragons had been strangers before that war. Some had even been enemies. But the Void Swarm was a threat to everyone. So they learned to fight together. Tejo had been a young soldier then. He was part of a small platoon sent to protect a mining station on the edge of known space. There were 12 of them. 12 young soldiers who thought they were ready for anything. They were wrong. The Void Swarm came in the night. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. The creatures were like living shadows with claws and teeth. They made no sound except for a terrible clicking noise that filled the air. Tejo and his platoon fought hard, but they were losing. One by one, his friends fell. Soon, only 5 of them were left, and they were trapped in a burning building with no way out. Tejo had accepted death that night. He had made peace with it. He held his weapon and waited for the end, but the end did not come. Instead, a dragon came. A great green dragon with scales like emeralds and eyes like golden fire. She crashed through the wall of the building like it was made of paper. She roared, and her roar shook the ground. The Void Swarm creatures ran from her. They feared her in a way they did not fear humans. The dragon carried all 5 soldiers on her back. She flew through the night, fighting off the creatures that chased them. She took wounds that would have killed any human. But she did not stop. She flew until she reached the safe zone. And only then did she land. That dragon was Nari. Tejo never forgot her. He never forgot how she had risked her life for strangers. He never forgot the kindness in her golden eyes when she looked at the frightened human soldiers. He had tried to thank her, but she had simply nodded and flown away. Dragons did not ask for thanks. They did what was right because it was right. After the war, Tejo left the military. He was tired of fighting. He was tired of death. He moved to New Haven, A quiet colony world where humans and dragons lived together in peace. He opened a small workshop where he fixed machines and built things with his hands. It was a simple life, and he was happy with it. He had seen Nari a few times over the years. She lived in a cave on the edge of the colony with her daughter. They never spoke much. Just small nods of hello when they passed each other in the market. But Tejo always felt a connection to her. She had saved his life. That was a debt he could never fully repay. Now, as he ran through the rain with Nari's daughter, that debt was calling to him. They reached Nari's cave after 20 minutes of running. It was a small cave at the base of a rocky hill. There were pretty stones around the entrance, arranged in patterns that dragons liked. Normally, a soft light would glow from inside, but tonight, the cave was dark. Bora led Tejo inside. The air was warm and smelled like herbs and flowers. Dragons kept their homes very clean and pleasant. But there was another smell too. A bad smell. The smell of sickness. Nari was lying on a bed of soft moss in the center of the cave. She was curled up like a sleeping cat, but her breathing was wrong. It was too slow. Too shallow. Her beautiful green scales had lost their shine. They looked gray and lifeless. Tejo knelt beside her and put his hand on her side. Her scales were hot. Much too hot. Even for a dragon. "Nari," he said softly. "Nari, can you hear me?" There was no response. Her eyes stayed closed. Her body did not move. Bora stood behind Tejo, watching with wide, scared eyes. "Can you help her?" she asked. Her voice was very small. Tejo opened his bag and pulled out his medical supplies. He had learned a lot about dragon medicine during the war. Humans and dragons had shared knowledge with each other. He knew things that most humans did not know. He examined Nari carefully. He checked her breathing. He checked her heartbeat. He looked at her scales and her claws. He opened her mouth gently and looked at her tongue. Everything pointed to one thing. "Starlight fever," he said quietly. Bora made a scared sound. "What is that? Is it bad?" Tejo looked at her with serious eyes. "It is a sickness that dragons get very rarely. It comes from a type of bacteria that lives in certain rocks. If a dragon breathes in the dust from those rocks, they can get sick. But Mommy stays home most of the time," Bora said. "She does not go to dangerous places." "It does not have to be a dangerous place," Tejo explained. "The bacteria can be anywhere. It is just very rare to breathe enough of it to get sick. Your mother was unlucky. Can you make her better?" Bora asked. Tears were forming in her eyes again. Tejo reached into his bag and pulled out a small bottle filled with clear liquid. "This is the medicine," he said. "It was made by human scientists during the war. It can cure starlight fever. But there is a problem." "What problem?" "This medicine is very old," Tejo said. "I got it many years ago, and I have kept it safe. But I do not know if it is still strong enough to work. And I only have one bottle. If it does not work, I do not have more." Bora looked at the bottle with desperate hope. "Please try," she said. "Please. I cannot lose my mommy." Tejo nodded. He would try. He owed Nari his life. He owed her everything. If there was any chance at all to save her, he would take it. He carefully measured the medicine and used a special tool to give it to Nari. The liquid went into her body slowly. Tejo watched her face the whole time, looking for any sign of change. Nothing happened. Minutes passed. The rain outside continued to fall. Bora stood very still, barely breathing. Tejo kept his hand on Nari's side, feeling for any change in her heartbeat. Still nothing. Then, slowly, something began to happen. Nari's breathing changed. It became a little deeper, a little stronger. The terrible gray color of her scales started to fade, just a tiny bit. It was not much, but it was something. "The medicine is working," Tejo said. He let out a breath he did not know he was holding. "But she is not out of danger yet. She needs more medicine." Better medicine. The kind that only the main hospital in the capital city has. Bora's face fell. The capital is so far away, she said. It takes 2 days to travel there. I know, Tejo said. He looked at Nari's sleeping face. The medicine had bought her some time, but not much. Maybe 1 day. Maybe 2. After that, the sickness would come back. And this time, the old medicine would not be enough. He had to get to the capital. He had to get the real cure. There was no other choice. Stay with your mother, Tejo told Bora. Keep her warm. Give her water if she wakes up. I am going to the capital to get the medicine that will save her. But the journey is dangerous, Bora said. The wild lands between here and the capital are full of bad things. Tejo stood up and put his bag over his shoulder. His old soldier's eyes were hard and determined. I have faced worse, he said. Your mother saved my life once. Now it is my turn to save hers. He walked to the entrance of the cave and looked out at the rain. It was still falling hard. The night was dark and cold. The journey ahead would be difficult and dangerous, but Tejo did not hesitate. He stepped out into the storm and began to walk. Behind him, Bora watched him go with hope in her heart. The human veteran had not abandoned them. He was going to save her mother. She believed in him with all her heart. She just hoped he would be fast enough. Tejo walked through the rain until morning came. The storm did not stop, but the darkness slowly turned to gray light. He could see the path ahead now. It was a narrow road that wound through the wild lands between New Haven and the capital city. He had not slept all night. His legs were tired, and his clothes were wet and cold. But he did not stop. He could not stop. Every minute he wasted was a minute that Nari did not have. The wild lands were not safe. Everyone on the colony knew this. There were dangerous animals that lived in the forests and hills. There were broken machines from the old wars that still wandered around, attacking anything that moved. And there were other dangers too, things that no one liked to talk about. But Tejo was not afraid. He had survived the border wars. He had seen things that would make most people lose their minds. A walk through the wild lands was nothing compared to what he had already lived through. He walked for 6 hours before he heard the sound behind him. It was a soft sound, like small feet hitting the wet ground. Tejo stopped and turned around. His hand went to the knife on his belt. He was ready to fight if he had to, but it was not a monster. It was something much smaller. Bora came running up the path toward him. Her blue scales were dark with rain, and her small wings hung low with tiredness. She was breathing hard, like she had been running for a long time. What are you doing here? Tejo asked. His voice was sharp with surprise. I told you to stay with your mother. Bora stopped in front of him and tried to catch her breath. I could not stay, she said. I was too scared. I did not want to be alone. And I thought maybe I could help. Tejo looked at her with a mixture of frustration and concern. She was just a child. A small dragon child who should be safe at home, not walking through dangerous lands. This journey is not safe, he said. You should go back. No, Bora said. Her voice was small but firm. I will not go back. Mommy is sick because of me. I have to help save her. What do you mean, because of you? Bora's eyes filled with tears. The rocks, she said. The pretty rocks that made Mommy sick. I found them in a cave. I brought them home because I thought they were beautiful. Mommy touched them because of me. It is my fault she is sick. Tejo felt his heart soften. He knelt down so he was at Bora's level. He looked into her golden eyes, so much like her mother's. Listen to me, he said gently. It is not your fault. You did not know those rocks were dangerous. No one could have known. Sickness is not something we choose. It just happens sometimes. But if I had not brought the rocks home, then something else might have happened, Tejo said. Life is full of things we cannot control. What matters is what we do when bad things happen. And you, little one, are doing everything right. You found me. You asked for help. That took courage. Bora wiped her eyes with her small claws. Do you really think so? I know so, Tejo said. He stood up and held out his hand. Come. If you are going to walk with me, then we walk together. But you must promise to do what I say if there is danger. Bora nodded quickly. I promise. They started walking together. Tejo slowed his pace so Bora could keep up. The rain continued to fall. But it was lighter now. Small patches of gray sky showed through the clouds. As they walked, Bora asked questions. She wanted to know about the war. She wanted to know about her mother. She wanted to know everything. Tell me about when Mommy saved you, she said. She never talks about the war. She says it makes her sad. Tejo thought about how to explain it. He wanted to tell the truth, but he did not want to scare the child. It was a very dark time, he said. Bad creatures were attacking everyone. Humans and dragons fought together to stop them. Your mother was very brave. She flew into danger when everyone else was running away. She carried me and my friends to safety. Without her, we would have died. Mommy is the bravest dragon I know, Bora said proudly. Yes, Tejo agreed. She is. They walked for another hour before trouble found them. It came from the forest on the left side of the road. A broken war machine. Old and rusted. With legs like a spider. And claws like knives. Its eyes glowed red. With damaged electronics, it made a terrible grinding sound as it moved. Tejo pushed Bora behind him. Stay back, he said quietly. The machine saw them. It turned toward them with jerky movements. It was broken, but it was still dangerous. Its programming told it to attack anything alive. Tejo pulled out his knife. It was not much against a machine, but it was all he had. He had left his gun at home years ago. He had wanted to leave the fighting behind. The machine charged at them. Tejo pushed Bora out of the way and rolled to the side. The machine's claws cut through the air where they had been standing. Tejo jumped onto its back and started cutting at the wires and tubes that connected its parts. Sparks flew. The machine screamed with a mechanical voice. It threw Tejo off. He hit the ground hard. Pain shot through his shoulder. He was getting too old for this kind of fighting. The machine turned toward Bora. The little dragon was frozen with fear. Her eyes were wide, and her wings were shaking. Tejo forced himself to his feet. He had to protect her. He had promised, but before he could move, something unexpected happened. Bora opened her mouth and breathed fire. It was not a big fire. It was small and weak, the fire of a child who had not yet learned to use her full power. But it was enough. The flames hit the machine's damaged electronics. They sparked and caught fire. The machine stumbled. It made terrible sounds as its systems failed one by one. Then it fell to the ground and stopped moving. Tejo stared at Bora with amazement. You breathed fire, he said. Bora looked at her own mouth like she could not believe what had happened. I did, she said. I never did that before. Mommy said I was too young. Sometimes, Tejo said with a small smile, we find strength we did not know we had. When the people we love are in danger, we become stronger. Bora smiled back. It was a small smile, but it was real. They continued their journey. The day passed slowly. They walked through forests and over hills. They crossed streams and climbed rocks. Tejo's body was tired and hurting, but he did not complain. And when Bora's small legs got too tired, he carried her on his shoulders. As he walked, he told her stories. He told her about his home planet, where the sky was pink and the grass was blue. He told her about his parents, who had been farmers. He told her about his friends from the war, and the adventures they had together before everything went bad. Bora listened to every word. She asked questions and laughed at the funny parts. The stories helped pass the time and made the journey feel shorter. When night came, they found shelter in a small cave. It was not as nice as Nari's cave, but it was dry and safe. Tejo made a small fire to keep them warm. They ate some food that he had brought in his bag. Before she fell asleep, Bora looked at Tejo with grateful eyes. Thank you, she said softly. For coming with me. For saving Mommy. For everything. Tejo felt something warm in his chest. It had been a long time since anyone had thanked him for anything. It felt good. Rest now, he said. We have a long way to go tomorrow. Bora curled up near the fire and closed her eyes. Within minutes, she was asleep. Tejo watched her sleep. She was so small, so young, so brave. She reminded him of why he had become a soldier in the first place. To protect the innocent. To help those who could not help themselves. He had lost that purpose after the war. The darkness of what he had seen had made him forget. But now, looking at this little dragon who had trusted him with her mother's life, he remembered. He remembered why humans mattered, why their kindness mattered, why their courage mattered. He would not let this child down. He would save Nari. No matter what it took. With that thought in his mind, Tejo closed his eyes and let sleep take him. Tomorrow would be hard. But he was ready. They were halfway to the capital now. Halfway to saving Nari's life. And nothing was going to stop them. The second day of the journey was harder than the first. The rain had stopped, but the ground was muddy and slippery. Tejo's legs ached with every step. His shoulder, where he had hit the ground during the fight with the machine, was swollen and painful. But he kept walking. Bora walked beside him, quiet and determined. She did not complain, even when her small feet got stuck in the mud. She just pulled them out and kept going. Tejo was proud of her. She was stronger than she knew. They reached the capital city at sunset. The city was huge, much bigger than New Haven. Tall buildings reached toward the sky like silver fingers. Lights blinked everywhere. Vehicles flew through the air, carrying people from one place to another. It was a place of noise and movement and life. Bora had never seen anything like it. Her mouth hung open as she looked at everything around her. It is so big, she whispered. How will we find the hospital? I know the way, Tejo said. I was here before, many years ago. The hospital is in the center of the city. We must hurry. We do not have much time. They moved through the crowded streets. People looked at them strangely. A tired old human and a small blue dragon, covered in mud, and looking like they had walked through a war zone. But no one stopped them. People in big cities did not like to get involved in other people's business. The hospital was a massive white building with bright lights and clean walls. Tejo walked through the front doors with Bora close behind him. The inside was cold and smelled like medicine. Humans and dragons in white clothes walked around, doing their work. Tejo went to the front desk, where a young human woman was sitting. I need medicine, he said. His voice was rough with tiredness. Medicine for starlight fever. It is for a dragon. It is urgent. The woman looked at him with cold eyes. She typed something on her computer. Starlight fever treatment requires proper authorization, she said. Do you have medical identification? Insurance documentation? A referral from a licensed doctor? And, no, Tejo said. I do not have any of those things. But my friend is dying. She does not have time for papers and documents. The woman shook her head. I am sorry, sir. Without proper documentation, we cannot release controlled medications. Those are the rules. Tejo felt anger rising in his chest. Rules, papers, documentation. His friend was dying, and all this woman cared about was rules. Please, Bora said. She stepped forward and looked up at the woman with her big golden eyes. Please help us. My mommy is very sick. She cannot breathe well. She will not wake up, please. I do not want my mommy to die. The woman's face softened a little, but she still shook her head. I am sorry, little one. There is nothing I can do. The rules are the rules. Tejo was about to argue more when he heard a voice behind him. What is happening here? He turned around. An older dragon stood there. Her scales a deep purple color. She wore a white coat, the kind that doctors wore. Her eyes were sharp and intelligent. Dr. Yuna, the woman at the desk said quickly. These people want medicine without documentation. The dragon called Yuna looked at Teho and Bora carefully. Her eyes stopped on Bora's face. Something changed in her expression. You, she said to Bora. What is your mother's name? Nari, Bora said. Her name is Nari. Yuna's eyes went wide. Nari? The Nari who fought in the border wars? The hero of the mining station rescue? Teho nodded. The same one. She is sick with starlight fever. I gave her old medicine. But it is not enough. She needs the real cure, or she will die. Yuna was silent for a moment. Then she turned to the woman at the desk. Prepare the full starlight fever treatment package immediately, she said. Her voice was strong and left no room for argument. But Dr. Yuna, the documentation. I will take responsibility, Yuna said. Nari saved my brother during the war. She saved hundreds of lives. If she needs help, she will get it. No papers. No questions. Get the medicine now. The woman nodded quickly and hurried away. Yuna looked at Teho with respect in her eyes. You are human, she said. Why are you helping a dragon? She saved my life once, Teho said simply. Now I save hers. That is how it should be. Yuna smiled. It was a warm smile. Not many humans think like you, she said. Most of your kind have forgotten the old bonds between our peoples. They see us as strange creatures, not as friends. Then most of my kind are fools, Teho said. Yuna laughed softly. Yes, she said. Perhaps they are. The woman from the desk came back with a small box. Inside was the medicine they needed. Several bottles of clear liquid, much fresher and stronger than the old medicine Teho had used before. There were also instructions and tools for giving the medicine properly. This will cure her, Yuna said. But you must give it to her within the next 20 hours. After that, the sickness will be too strong. 20 hours. Teho's heart sank. It had taken them a day and a half to walk here. There was no way they could walk back in time. Yuna seemed to read his thoughts. You will not walk, she said. I will arrange transportation for you. The fastest vehicle we have. It will get you back to New Haven in 4 hours. Why? Teho asked. Why are you helping us so much? Yuna put her claw on his shoulder. Because what you are doing matters, she said. You are showing the galaxy that humans and dragons can still care for each other. That the bonds we made during the war are not forgotten. That is worth more than any rule or document. Within 30 minutes, Teho and Bora were in a fast vehicle flying through the night sky. Bora pressed her face against the window, watching the stars go by. Despite everything, she smiled. We did it, she said. We got the medicine. We are not done yet, Teho reminded her. We still have to get it to your mother. And we still have to hope it works. It will work, Bora said with confidence. I know it will. You came all this way to save her. You fought monsters. You did not give up. The universe would not be fair if she did not get better after all of that. Teho wanted to tell her that the universe was not always fair. He had seen too much unfairness in his life to believe in justice. But he did not want to take away her hope. Hope was precious. Hope was what kept people going when everything seemed impossible. Maybe you are right, he said quietly. Maybe you are right. The vehicle flew on through the night. Below them, the wild lands passed in darkness. Above them, the stars shone like millions of tiny lights. Somewhere ahead, in a small cave on the edge of New Haven, Nari was waiting, fighting for her life, holding on with every breath. Teho held the box of medicine tightly in his hands. He would not fail. He would not let Nari down. He would not let Bora down. In 4 hours, they would know if all of this had been enough. In 4 hours, they would know if Nari would live or die. Teho closed his eyes and made a promise to whatever powers controlled the universe. If Nari survived, he would spend the rest of his life doing good. He would help others. He would make up for all the years he had spent hiding from the world. The vehicle flew on. Time was running out, but there was still hope. There was always hope. The vehicle landed outside Nari's cave, just as the first light of morning appeared on the horizon. Teho jumped out before it had fully stopped. His legs were shaking with tiredness, but he forced them to move. Bora flew beside him, her small wings carrying her for the first time in her life. Fear and hope had given her strength. They rushed into the cave. It was dark and quiet. Too quiet. Teho's heart pounded in his chest as he moved toward the center where Nari lay. She was still there. Still curled up on the moss bed. Still breathing, but barely. Her scales had turned almost completely gray. Her body was cold to the touch. She looked like a shadow of the powerful dragon who had once saved an entire platoon of soldiers. "We are here, Mommy," Bora whispered. She pressed her small body against her mother's side. "We brought the medicine. Please hold on. Please." Teho wasted no time. He opened the box and pulled out the medicine bottles. His hands moved with the skill of someone who had given field medicine many times during the war. He prepared the treatment exactly as the instructions said. Then he carefully gave the medicine to Nari. The first dose went in, then the second, then the third, and then they waited. Minutes passed. The cave was silent except for the sound of breathing. Teho watched Nari's face, looking for any sign of change. Bora held her mother's claw in her small hands, squeezing it gently. Nothing happened. More minutes passed. The morning light grew brighter outside. Shadows in the cave began to fade. But Nari did not move. Her breathing did not change. Her scales stayed gray. Teho felt cold fear in his stomach. What if they had been too late? What if the sickness had already gone too far? What if all their effort, all their struggle, had been for nothing? "Please, Mommy," Bora said. Her voice was breaking. Tears ran down her small blue face. "Please wake up. I am sorry about the rocks. I am so sorry. Please do not leave me. I do not want to be alone." Teho put his hand on Bora's back. He wanted to say something comforting, but no words came. He did not know what to say. He did not know if there was anything left to say. They sat there in silence, waiting, hoping, praying to whatever gods might be listening. And then, something happened. Nari's claw twitched. It was a tiny movement, so small that Teho almost missed it, but Bora felt it. She gasped and looked up at her mother's face. "Mommy?" Nari's breathing changed. It became deeper, stronger. The terrible gray color of her scales began to fade. Green started to return, spreading slowly across her body like morning light spreading across the land. Teho held his breath. He watched as life returned to the dragon who had saved him so many years ago. It was like watching a miracle, like watching the sun rise after a long, dark night. Nari's eyes opened. They were golden, just like Bora's. But right now, they were confused and unfocused. She blinked several times, trying to understand where she was and what was happening. "Mommy," Bora cried. She threw herself onto her mother's face, hugging her with all her strength. "Mommy, you are awake. You are alive." Nari's voice was weak and rough, but it was the most beautiful sound Teho had ever heard. "Bora," she whispered. "My little one. What happened? I feel so strange." "You were sick," Bora said through her tears. "Very sick, but Teho saved you. He walked all the way to the capital to get medicine. He fought monsters. He carried me when I was tired. He saved you, Mommy. The humans saved you." Nari slowly turned her head. Her golden eyes found Teho. He was sitting on the ground nearby, looking tired and worn but smiling softly. "Teho," Nari said. Recognition filled her eyes. "The soldier from the mining station. The one I carried to safety. That is me," Teho said. "It seems we are even now. You saved me once. Now I saved you." Nari was quiet for a moment. Then, slowly, she lifted her great head and lowered it in a bow. It was a dragon gesture of deep respect and gratitude. "No," she said softly. "We are not even. I saved soldiers because it was my duty. But you, human, you walked through storms and dangers to save a dragon you barely knew. You did not have to do that, but you did. That is something I can never repay. You do not have to repay anything, Taeho said. Some things are not about debts. Some things are just about doing what is right. Taeho said. The morning sun was fully up now. Golden light streamed into the cave, making everything warm and bright. Outside, birds began to sing. The storm was over. A new day had begun. Bora would not let go of her mother. She curled up against Nari's side, her small body pressed close for comfort. She had been so brave during the journey. But now, safe in her mother's presence, she let herself be a child again. She let herself feel scared and relieved and happy all at once. Nari looked at her daughter with overwhelming love. Then she looked at Taeho again. "Stay," she said. "Please. Rest here. You have done so much. Let me take care of you for a while." Taeho wanted to say no. He wanted to go back to his simple life in his small workshop. But he was so tired. His body hurt everywhere. And something about this cave, this dragon, this little family, made him feel at peace in a way he had not felt for many years. "Okay," he said. "I will stay. For a little while." He lay down on the soft moss near the entrance of the cave. The morning sun warmed his face. The sounds of Bora and Nari talking softly filled his ears. It was peaceful. It was good. Within minutes, he was asleep. When he woke up, it was evening. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Taeho sat up slowly, feeling stiff, but better than before. Nari was sitting up now, looking much stronger. Her scales had returned to their beautiful green color. Bora was beside her, sleeping peacefully with a smile on her face. "You slept for many hours," Nari said softly. "You needed it." Taeho nodded. "How are you feeling?" "Better," Nari said. "Much better. The medicine you brought is working. I can feel my strength returning." She paused, looking at him with those golden eyes. "My daughter told me everything. The journey. The dangers. How you never gave up. Why did you do it?" Taeho thought about the question. He thought about the war. He thought about the years of loneliness after. He thought about running through the rain with Bora, about carrying her when she was tired, about fighting the machine to protect her. "Because I remembered," he said finally. "I remembered what it means to care about something beyond myself. I remembered what it means to fight for someone else. I had forgotten that for a long time. But your daughter helped me remember." Nari smiled. It was a dragon smile. Gentle and wise. "Humans are strange creatures," she said. "So small, so fragile, yet capable of such great things, such kindness, such courage." "Dragons are not so different," Taeho said. "You proved that when you saved me and my friends all those years ago." "Perhaps," Nari said. "Perhaps we are more alike than we know." They sat in comfortable silence as the sunset faded into night. Stars began to appear in the sky. The world was quiet and peaceful. After a while, Bora woke up. She rubbed her eyes and looked around. When she saw Taeho, she smiled and ran to him, wrapping her small arms around his neck. "You are still here," she said happily. "I am still here," Taeho agreed. "Will you come visit us sometimes?" Bora asked. "Will you tell me more stories? Will you teach me how to be brave like you?" Taeho looked at Nari. The dragon nodded slightly, approval in her eyes. "Yes," Taeho said. "I will visit. And I will tell you all the stories you want to hear. And you do not need me to teach you how to be brave, little one. You are already the bravest dragon I have ever met." Bora beamed with pride. She hugged him tighter. Outside the cave, the stars shone brightly in the night sky. Somewhere out there, humans and dragons lived their separate lives, often forgetting the bonds they had made during darker times. But in this small cave, on the edge of a colony world, those bonds were being renewed. A human veteran and a dragon family, brought together by danger and saved by kindness. The galaxy was a big place, full of wonders and dangers. But sometimes, the most important things happened in small places. A child's love for her mother. A soldier's sense of duty. A debt repaid with no expectation of return. These were the things that made life worth living. These were the things that made the universe beautiful. And for the first time in many years, Tejo felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. He was home.